That should be it. We should be live. But how do we know? Looks like it's excellent. Imagine you're out surfing, pretty big size, you're paddling out the back and this monster wave starts breaking. It looks like it's going to land right on you. You duck dive, and mid-duck dive you think to yourself, this wave is going to obliterate me. So you bail your board and you kind of throw it out the back of you, and the nose of the board goes between your legs, and then the nose flicks up and smokes you in the testicles. That is exactly what happened to my customer here. People talk about balls of steel. That is the damage that this man's testicles did to this board. Yes, our poor customer did end up having to get stitches in his nutsack, but I am still very impressed that his balls managed to shatter the nose of a surfboard. Now, I'm sure there's a lesson in there for us somewhere. I don't quite know what the lesson is, but if you know what the lesson is, leave it in the comments and let us all know what we can learn from this poor man's experience. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope the audio worked okay on that. For us, back again, just doing the usual, or I say the usual, this is the second time we've done it, but we're going to go through the questions/comments for the week. This time it's only a week's worth of comments, so it shouldn't take 70 hours like it did last week. Should be a little bit quicker. Hope you're all well. If you missed this live stream, last time we did it, I did get a lot of questions or feedback saying, oh, I missed the live stream and sorry I didn't catch it. And that's all good. No stress. It automatically gets uploaded to the channel anyway. So if you miss it, you can always come back and watch it later on. You don't have to watch it right now. But I'm sitting down answering these comments and questions anyway, so I just kind of assumed or figured that I may as well live stream when I do it, because then if other people have questions and comments, they can ask while I sit down and do this. So, first ones are coming from Cabacronulla. He actually commented on a video last week when we did this live stream, and he had quite the resume of surfboard building dating back from, I think he said like the 70s, somewhere around there, which was very cool. And then I did actually read one of these comments, I think. Yeah, it was this first one. So he's been shaping boards with a Kiwi shaper named Scotty James, and that kind of caught my attention, so I looked up Scotty James from Dunedin, who lives in Australia and makes surfboards over there. And I actually reached out and contacted Scotty because I have just started Shapers Collective, which is selling New Zealand Shapers boards. So I got in touch and let Scotty know that if he ever needs a shaping bay, if he's visiting New Zealand and he wants to make a board and he needs somewhere to shape it, glass it, sell it from, to let us know. So thank you to Cabacronulla for teeing all that up, I guess, via this comment right here. So I guess that's just what I will say. I'm not going to out Cabacronulla's real name, but I did have a chat with Scotty about him, and yeah, quite the impressive resume. Hey, that's cool. I actually got in touch with him after reading your comment to let him know that there's always a shaping bay here for him in NZ if he ever needs. Turns out his cousin actually lives here in Mangawhai, so he might even have the resources to build his own shaping bay in New Zealand, which would be pretty cool. And he could sort of come over doing yearly visits and make some boards during those visits, and then I would have the space to sell them from. If he's doing stock boards, it might only be customs. I guess it would depend on the trip. But yeah, cool stuff. Thanks for teeing all that up, even though that was not a deliberate thing, I don't think, but that works out pretty well. We may as well, let's drag that down there. What do we got? Instagram. I'll show you some of his boards. He actually did a cool little series this week, sort of following the glassing process of his newest boards that he made. So this is Scotty James here, SJS Customs. Makes a nice board. This looks like it's straight out of board porn. Mostly polys, he said he's doing, although this was the first photo that captured my attention. So I assumed he was doing EPS, but most of the boards he's doing are poly PU. Big scoops out of his fish. I like this. I've actually made a fish myself with the same scoop, but mine started further up. But I actually used the template that I cut the outline of the board with to make this same scoop. So we had a little bit of a back and forth about that scoop, and he said that it's faster. That's where the speed comes from, and I said by my calculations about 10.4% faster, I think was what I was going with. That is based on no science at all, but it sounded like a good sounding number. So yeah, anyway, Kiwi Shaper from Dunedin in Australia, sjscustom.com.au, SJS Custom on Instagram. You can go and check him out. But yeah, pretty cool to tee up with him because of a YouTube comment. For those of you who aren't in the loop, Shapers Collective opened, I should say, last week. So this is a, I guess, showroom in the entrance of my Ding Repairs, which will sell only New Zealand shaped surfboards. We don't take a cut from the sales of the surfboards. We don't mark the prices up. We just rent rack space for about the same amount as you would pay for Netflix. So that's kind of the premise of it. So it'll give New Zealand shapers a place to sell their boards from without competing with a bunch of manufactured, popped out, overseas manufactured pop out kind of stuff. So that's sort of the premise, and we'll have some artwork in there as well. We got a fella named Joe to drop off some artwork this week, so he's a local artist, and these are all of our local surf spots. So he did some cool kind of comic book art for each surf spot, so it'd be good to work with some more artists. And then we did have a big box of Leadhead hats dropped off today, so I've still got to build a display and price all of them and stuff, but they are very cool. Kiwi owned company, Leadheads, because they all come with a little slot for a pencil. I probably actually don't need to wear that right now because it is almost midnight and I'm inside. But yes, cool hats. So yeah, right now just working on getting some stuff in that space. So it was cool to catch up with Scotty James because he is a Kiwi shaper, and if he's coming back to New Zealand, it would be good to get some of his boards in there. Cabo Cronulla again, talking about making fins. First thing I learned at Jackson Surfboards in Cronulla at 15 years old, way back in, 1975 and 76, was laying a fin panel. 10 foot by 3 foot. Wow, that's big. Nearly every morning, then marking out using fin templates, then off to the bandsaw. Next was cleaning out the dunnies. Honestly, I dislike making fins so much, I think I'd rather clean the toilets. Um, I really don't like it, and I've never made a fin panel that big. I've seen videos of guys that lay up like tables sort of size fin panels, but if I'm making fins, I'm always only doing like one or like one set at a time, you know, maximum. So my fin panel only has to be as big or big enough to fit those 3 fins in. Jack M, yo, Shapers Collective. That is the one. Go to Instagram and follow Shapers Collective. Then contact your favourite New Zealand shaper and tell them to call Shapers Collective and get their boards in there. They would be silly not to, I think. I think I'd rather clean dunnies than lay up and cut a 10-foot fin panel. Did I spell that right? I'm gonna clean the dunny. Yeah, there we go. Oh, he's all over it. Carbochronala again, totally agree. Silmar polyester resin, 100% the best. So this is my big whinge about EPS and epoxy resin. I think I got the point across in that video, but my big problem with those materials is really EPS. I think epoxy is an amazing product. Can be difficult to work with, temperamental, not as straightforward, comes with some issues, but I do like epoxy. I think it's a good product and certainly has a lot of really, really great uses. EPS is my big problem. Silmar polyester, I don't know if I've ever used it. But he agrees with me, so that's all that matters, really. Krisk 7118118. Do people make yellow surfboard blanks from this particular foam? What type of PU foam are blank manufacturers using to get the white foam? This is something that came up if you're on Facebook. There's a Facebook group called Backyard Surfboard Shapers. It's the best group on Facebook. And it came up in that recently in the chat, not on the actual page, but in the chat. So I've tried to track down a good solid answer of like, why are surfboard blanks white and how come all the foams that we buy are an off yellow, or in the case of some of the really high density ones like my 64 kg, they're actually green but not white. So the answers that I've got have varied a bit, but there's not just one answer. But the 2 best answers, or probably the best answer I've heard, is if you paid... You know what I just realised? You're not even looking at my screen. There we go. Sorry, I'm reading questions, you can't even see them. Hello Sam, how are you? Oh, you're just watching the last one. This one will be a bit quicker, Sam. The last one was 2 or 3 weeks worth of questions, so this one's only about a week, so it will be a bit quicker. But welcome. And now you can actually see the questions, which is good. So I was basically told that if I paid as much for foam as blank manufacturers pay for foam, they can make foam for me whatever colour I want, however I want it. The world is an oyster if you've got the money to spend, but I will never spend as much money as blank manufacturers spend on foam and foam ingredients. So that's one reason why it's hard for plebs like us to get good bright white foam, is because we just don't spend that kind of money. And the other question is, which I don't remember the ins and outs honestly, but because blanks are made in molds and vacuums, and it's not like how I do it when I fix a board. I make a wall out of masking tape, pour it in, leave it overnight, and it's good to go. These guys are scientists. It's a part of the scientific process even that makes the blank white. So like the vacuuming, I'm pretty sure the guy told me that something to do with it being in a vacuum helps make the foam white, essentially. So I don't know the answer. There is one... I don't know the accurate answer. But it's not likely that we will be getting white foams sort of easily accessible anyway. There is one white foam, and I will see if I can find it. I know where I can find it. Bear with me. Just need the brand name. Once I have the brand name, I will be able to find it. I think that's it. Yeah, that's the one. So there is a company called Smooth On or Foam It, and these are their varying densities and their varying foam. So you can see these are all numbered. I did have a good look at their products, but the website is smoothon.com, and you can see number 8 here is white. It is a really white foam. So they do it. I can't get it in New Zealand. They don't sell that particular white foam in New Zealand. Very expensive to buy directly from this website and ship to New Zealand, and none of my suppliers get it. I can't find it right now, but of course you're welcome to look at the website and look at number 8 of Smooth On. If you're in the States, Canada, maybe Australia, I'm not really sure, to be honest, but yeah, maybe Australia, you might be able to get that white foam. And the other thing I couldn't remember with this one too is its density. So these are all varying densities, and I can't remember the density of the white foam, but I seem to remember it being softer than 56 kg. But you would have to come to this website and do... Oh, here we go. Foam It, number 8. There we go. 8 pounds. If anyone in chat wants to find a conversion table for foam densities and tell us what 8 pounds equates to in kgs. Available sizes, but that's not density. But it does exist, is the short answer. You can't get it. But I can't get it because I'm in the wrong country. So there's that. Smoothon.com. I saw a question there from a Stuart Skier. Hi, I'm a kite surfer and my boards have large pressure dents in them where my front foot goes. Is it worth getting these looked at and repaired, or just accept them as long as the laminate doesn't crack? Yeah, I generally don't fix pressure dings unless they open up, split, and let water in. My theory with pressure dings is the only way to fix them is to add more material, and the more material you add, the more material there is to fail, potentially. So if you don't have to add more material, then you're better off not adding more material. And for pressure dings that are just dents and they're not letting water in and they're not delaminating, it seems a waste of customer money and an unnecessary risk to fix them. Unless they're getting super annoying, you can't put your feet in the right spot, but yeah, it doesn't sound like that's the case. So no, I wouldn't worry about them. Krisk. I did actually have a guy on Instagram. He made an entire blank out of this 2-part foam. It it worked. He did it. It looked pretty horrendous. It had a lot of air bubbles in it. It would have been a light blank, that's for sure, because the vast majority of it was air. But no, I don't think... you probably could make blanks out of it, but it would need to go into a mold and be vacuumed and go through the same process as surfboard blanks make. Or go through the same process that surfboard blanks go through when they're made. Do people make yellow surfboards? It's probably not Krisk, huh? It's probably Chris K. That would make more sense. G'day, Chris. Probably not this foam specifically, although I did have one guy on Instagram send me photos of one he'd done at home. It was pretty average. It was pretty average. I think he made a board from it though. Can't actually remember. That was a while ago. He messaged me. The whitening of surf blanks, from my understanding, comes... If there's any issues with audio or anything, guys, let me know, because I still don't know what I'm doing with all this. So yeah, if there's any issues, let me know. The whitening of surf blanks, from my understanding, comes from the amount of money blank manufacturers spend on foam, as well as the chemical process. The foam goes under in the mold. The whitening of surf blanks, from my understanding, comes from the amount of money blank manufacturers spend on foam, as well as the chemical process the foam goes under in the mold. You could check out... Okay, that was it. Weird way to spell that. You could check out smoothon.com. I don't know if I can put websites in comments. Foam number 8, which is a white expanding foam. I can't get it in NZ. You might have more luck. Where you stay. Shaka. G'day, Chris. Probably not this foam specifically, although I did have one guy on Instagram send me some photos of one he'd done at home. It was pretty average. The whitening of surf blanks, from my understanding, comes from the amount of money blank manufacturers spend on foam, as well as the chemical process the foam goes under in the mold. You could check smoothon.com, foam number 8, which is a white expanding foam. I can't get it in New Zealand, but you might have more luck where you stay. Reply. Josh Shannon thoughts on... I misread that completely. Thoughts on Dick Van Stralen as a shaper. Recently fixed up an old board he made off Marketplace and goes really well. Also, why are resin leash loops so rarely used as opposed to leash plugs? Dick Van Stralen. Dick Van... I feel like this is a trick. I'd have to... I don't think I've ever had one of his boards in. And I don't remember... I honestly don't know if I've ever held one in my life. Oh, let's do that one. Yeah, there we go. I mean, as a shaper, who am I to have an opinion on someone like that? I was just reading this. It was interesting. This was on the Vintage Surfboard Collectors Facebook page. Also a very cool Facebook page, but not as good as Backyard Surfboard Shapers. But yeah, these boards are buzzy as. I didn't realise they were his though. Were they? Sorry, what was the question? Sorry, Josh. Thoughts on Dick Van Stralen as a shaper. I don't think I've earned the right to have thoughts on him as a shaper. A better shaper than me. That would be my thoughts on that. And second question was, why? Oh, you got one of his boards. Sorry, I missed that bit. Off Marketplace. Goes unreal. That's good. What kind of board? Was it fishy like this? I feel like that's kind of his thing, yeah. More mid fun board type of stuff. Not so performancy. My kind of boards, I would say. I didn't realise he did timber boards as well. Oh, that's a clubby board. What? Get out. Foam core though. It must be EPS with like an inlay. Maybe? I don't know. That's interesting. I've never seen that. Wow. You know some boards you just look at and the outline, you're just like, wow, I want to surf. That, whatever waves that board is designed for, I probably couldn't surf anyway, but yeah, unreal. That's a very nice looking board. Why aren't leash loops used more often, Josh? Good question. I would say because of the amount of labour they take, and how easily they can be messed up. So I did a video a while ago. It was a lightning bolt. We can probably find that, I reckon. And that leash loop, to get it right, I probably could have left it on the first go, but to get it aesthetically how I wanted it, it took 4 shots, I believe. I'm surprised that video didn't come straight up. Small kind things. Lightning bolt. Can I search that? Does it come straight up? No. Well, there is a video, I promised you, of a restoration of a BK, and yeah, it's a lot of work compared to a leash plug. Leash plugs, you just drill them, fill it with resin, and that's it. You're done. Stick the leash plug in, sand them flat. Oh, that's an ad. I won't make you watch that. Sand them flat and resin coat over the top, and that's it. You're done. But the leash plugs are really, yeah, a lot of work. So I would say that's the reason. But people still do them, and I am of the opinion that they are stronger than leash plugs. That's my opinion. So this one here, there's a little bit of trickery with the editing, but I don't believe this leash plug that I'm leash loop that I'm putting on there. Let's do some detective work here. How do I'm pretty sure. Maybe. There's a couple of shots of 2 different leash loops in this video, but obviously only one of them survived. So I think it took, maybe it was 3 goes it took to get it looking right how I wanted it. And it wasn't so much the color, it was like the shape of it and the arch, especially when you're not working with a fishtail where you can just bridge that gap between the 2 tails. When you're working on a flat surface like this, the height of the arch and how long that arch is, it's all pretty fussy stuff. And then that changes it too, because I always end up, because I'm using a piece of PVC to kind of bridge that roving over, then you got to sand underneath, and that actually elevates the leash loop as well, so it doesn't always look the same as it did when you laid it after sanding. It's higher. Where's the final shot of that leash loop? Oh, that was kind of it there. Came up good in the end. It was worth redoing for sure. I was stoked to have redone it. But yeah, a lot of work. Definitely a lot of work. Alright, we can bail on that. Who's next? Great axe metaphor. Oh, this is the restoration video. The story of Grandpa's axe. Boy inherits an axe from his grandfather. The handle snaps eventually, so he gets a new handle made by the same guy who made the original handle, and then ages later he gets a new head made because the old head, the original head, had been sharpened so much there was just nothing left of it. So now he's got his grandfather's axe, but it's a new handle, a new head. It's restored, but is it still Grandpa's axe? So Sparkle Cherry Moon here, that's a good name, said the same could be said about the cells in our own bodies. I guess because they're constantly regenerating. Is that right? Are we who we used to be? That's what that's deep. That's all I'm writing. That's deep. That's wow. I thought that video was deep, but yeah, no, that's in my opinion, the boat could have gone a little more vertical on that. Agreed. This is that bar crossing video, and he didn't even stick the 900. Hey. Sick, mate. That is the other lightning bolt restoration. What are the odds of getting 2 lightning bolt restorations in 1 year? They were only like 2 months apart from one another too, I think. 2 or 3 maybe. Top. What is that? Oh, that is the cloth inlay. So that's a video that if you want to do a cloth inlay, I would recommend you watch that video. if you're not planning on doing a cloth inlay, I would recommend you don't watch that video because it's horrendously edited. It's very long. I knew I wanted to film the process because I knew the board was going to look epic at the end, but I really didn't know how to edit it and how to present the footage and all that. But I do now think I could probably take that video, download it from YouTube, and cut it up and do a voiceover over the top of it and make it a little more palatable for people who just want to see the process but aren't interested in actually doing it themselves, you know, because that is a very instructional video right now. So I have said for a long time that I want to re-edit that video at some stage. I'll re-edit this one day to be a little more watchable, is probably the word. Mr. Robinski or Mr. Robinski, you decide. Surfboard repairs using expanding pour foam. So you have to chuck away those measuring cups every time. And can you get them cheap enough in bulk or something? So when I make foam, I don't always make foam, but when I make foam, I use those little 30mm measuring cups, little plastic ones. So he's asking, do I have to throw them away? And the answer is yes. For foam, yes, I do. I don't know if you could clean it out. I probably could, but the cups don't really like thinners, so I'm not sure what I'd use to clean it out. And the foam kicks so quick anyways. Yeah, the cups are done. I can reuse them for resin. If I'm doing small portions of epoxy or poly, I normally set them aside and reuse them. And can I get them cheap enough or in bulk or something? Fascinating story, but I have a friend in town who sources me these small 30mm plastic mixing cups. He sources them from the medical industry and they're used for measuring urine. I don't know why people want to measure urine, and 30mm is not much urine. I would need a bunch of them. So I've never paid for one in my life. Every time Uncle comes to visit, he brings me gloves, mandarins, plums or grapefruit, and plastic measuring cups. And always in a Lion Red beer box. Yeah, I look forward to his visits every time. So, yeah, I've never had to buy any. And I would be, if he moved out of town, if he got sick, something happened to him, God forbid, I'd be screwed because I wouldn't know where to buy these cups from. That's sad to think about, really. Life without measuring cups. They're very handy. I'm sure you can buy them in bulk from somewhere, and I would recommend them for mixing airbrush paints, for cleaning paintbrushes, for mixing pour foam, for mixing small quantities of poly foam, for mixing small quantities of epoxy. Sorry, did I say poly foam? Poly resin, for mixing small quantities of epoxy resin. They're just, yeah, they're really handy. Definitely a must-have. So get some of them. For foam, yes, I have to dispose of the cup after each pour. Only with foam though. With resins I can let them cure and use them. Once the resin is hard in the bottom of the cup, you can actually like break it out and you get a little like a coin of resin, and then you can reuse the cup with the measurements as well. So you normally get 2, maybe 3 uses out of them before they'll split. With resins I can let them cure and reuse them. I have a contact. I'm going to put contact in brackets or those things just to make it seem a little more mysterious. I have a contact. I've just opened Siri. Who sources these cups for me. I don't ask where they come from, and he doesn't. What doesn't he do? I had that in my head. And he doesn't ask for money. I'm sure you can buy them in bulk from somewhere, though. I don't ask where they come from. I'm just going to leave it at that, I think. What's this one? Brand new custom, got the courier treatment. Oh, we've got Dorcas Watson says, hello, is this you, Daniel? Yes, I'm right here, Dorcas Watson. Hello, nice to see you. Or I guess you can see me, I can't see you. Sam says, if you had to start from scratch again, oh god, how would you do it? I live an hour or so from the beach, so not many surfers around me. But I'd like to start ding repairs on the side. So I don't think location matters. I think you can easily live an hour or so away from the beach and people will bring you their boards. Especially because most of the ding repairers closer to the beach are going to be pretty busy if you're in kind of a populated area. So yeah, I actually know of a pretty big New Zealand board manufacturer, and they do ding repairs as well, of course, but they're moving from their current location, which, actually thinking about it, is in Auckland area and a fair way from the beach, but they're moving truly inland later this year, just because overheads and stuff in the city are so much right now. So they're moving their entire operation, ding repairs, board manufacturing, CNC cutting, all that kind of stuff is going way inland, at least an hour from the beach. But yeah, I really don't think that would matter. And if I had to start again, I would fix boats instead of surfboards, probably, just because they pay so much better than fixing surfboards. But if I had to start again, I would probably start the same way. So I bought an $800 gardening shed, set that up in my yard, and just started in there, sort of word of mouth. And then I didn't move into my current setup until I outgrew the gardening shed, basically, and also winter played a part, because the gardening shed wasn't much bigger from the little room that I'm sitting in now, and so a lot of the work that I had to do I did outside, and once winter kicked in and the rain and all that, it just wasn't really functional anymore. So then I got the shed. But I would say, if I had to do it again and things were different, I rent. I don't own a home. But I would keep the business at home. My overheads, once I moved the business out of home into the space that I rent now, my overheads doubled. So now I used to pay rent for my house, electricity for my house, insurance for my house. That's kind of it, really. Now I pay rent for my house, rent for work, insurance for my house, insurance for work, electricity for my house, electricity for work. Everything doubled, and all my tax deductions vanished because when I was working from home, like, this is tax deductible because it's a home office, so I need this for invoicing and stuff. But that, my shed at home, my fixed surf skis in it, so that's tax deductible too. But when I ran the entire business from home, everything was tax deductible. Everything from my rent, my electricity, my insurance, the whole thing, even work on my driveway or anything around the house was tax deductible because the business ran from the house. So if you can start the business at home and continue to run it from home, never move it, that's what I would change if I could start over. I mean, I wasn't in a position, I had to move. I'm glad I did. I don't regret it at all, but it definitely changed the game for sure. The only thing I would say is to anyone, if you're going to start a ding repair company or business at home, don't undercut your nearest competition who are renting commercial space. Just because you work at home doesn't mean your prices should undercut and put that person out of business, which has been something I've noticed happening in New Zealand here and there. It's never been a problem for me personally, but if somebody else opened up in kind of my vicinity and was operating at home, so not paying any overheads, so their prices were 50% of what I can charge, then that would probably put me out of business. And there's plenty of business around, I think. So yeah, just think about that, I would say. Dorcas, you can't see the details of my face. Half your luck. If I do that, you might be able to briefly see the details of my face. I'm getting old and weathered, Dorcas. It's happening. Bo Armstrong. Hi, I was looking at a board from one of the WSL longboard surfers, and he was saying that he is double concave from about halfway down and out through the tail. Wondering what you do. I always thought you only needed it in front of the fins. Yeah, I normally go to a single. I don't know why, really. Yeah, I don't know. Most of my boards, if I don't put a channel through it, it's going to go... Sorry, I lie. Hold on, I've misread that. I will normally go single to double. I was looking at a board. He was saying double concave from about halfway down and out through the tail. Oh, okay, so I would do the opposite. Normally I would start with a single concave and I would go to a double concave just in front of the fins, through the fins. That's kind of what you're saying, I think. Yeah. But this question is probably too technical for me. I'm not a shaper. I'm a ding repairer. So I couldn't really give you the theory on it. But I would say a wise man once told me, everything works. Everything just works differently. So yeah, I think I've seen just about everything. I've seen double concaves all the way down from like almost a foot from the nose all the way down to the fins. I've seen singles all the way through. I've seen flat bottoms, doubles into channels, singles into channels, big scoops like we were looking at Scott James before. Have I remembered his name right? Scotty James. We're looking at his boards before. He's got these big scoops in the board, and his fish, that is, I guess they're single, I would think. Yeah, so I probably can't help you there much, Bo. But yeah, that's what I think anyway. Epic craftsmanship, I'll love heart that, and we can move on. I enjoyed the video. I learned some more nice work. That is good. I try to avoid using these pre-written comments, even if I write the same thing essentially. But it just seems a little bit impersonal, you know. Not a great... Is this the same guy? No. Not a great day for going over the bar. Oh, here we are. But there are a lot of Muppets on boards right out in front of where the boats go out. This video, man, holy crap. You know what? Let's have some fun. Let's solve some stuff. So I'm going to assume that the 3 people watching this live stream have seen the video of the bar crossing, but we can, in case you haven't, let's go back in time to a funnier time. Oh, can I not do that? That's weird. Alright, bear with me guys, I'm having some technical difficulties. There we go. Alright, so this is our bar. This was a particularly big day, as you will see. You can see there's quite the lineup out the back, 30 odd people. So over here is our boating channel. So waves don't break in there, it's dredged, so it's quite deep in there. And then at about this point here, it's not dredged and it's really shallow, like 2 meters maybe, really shallow. So the waves roll in and they break here where the lineup is obviously, and it goes into a right-hander which stops about here, or it goes into a left-hander which goes all the way to the South Island, and then you have to walk all the way back. So that's generally how we do it. So boats go through this channel here. That's the safe place to cross, and surfers as well. If you catch the left to the South Island, then you can't really paddle straight back out. It's just too much. So you have to come all the way back here to the channel, and the channel will suck you back out. That water is moving so fast, it's like a conveyor belt. You just go straight out and then across to the lineup. Same with the right-hander, which is my favorite, because you catch the wave here and you surf the wave into the channel, and then you just sit on your board and go all the way out and across, and you're back in the lineup. So the first point I would make is that you cannot sit in this channel, and I don't want to misquote this guy, and I'm not even saying he's incorrect. So he said, not a great day for going over the bar, but there are a lot of Muppets on boards right out in front of where the boats go out. So if there's a Muppet on a board in the channel, they're going to be there for about 47.5 seconds, because they're going to get sucked out to sea, basically, straight out into the lineup. You can't sit in the channel. So that's not something this person would know, obviously, so I'm not having a go at him. And he's not incorrect. When we look at this, so the issue with this boat, and I'm not going to pick on him again too bad, but basically you can see there's quite some large waves coming through, and then this boat, I'll make it larger, avoids our channel altogether and goes out through the lineup of surfers. Now, this isn't a surfer versus boaty issue. I'm not saying he's doing the wrong thing because he's going to kill a surfer. I mean, that's part of it, for sure, but let's ignore that. Surfers indicate breaking waves. If you see a bunch of surfers, you know there's going to be a wave breaking there. So the reason I say he's going out through the pack of surfers is because this is the most dangerous place you could take your boat out. So he gets about halfway, and then he realizes basically he's screwed. He rides that up. The jet ski too, I'm not sure if he was with the jet ski. So then he does a 180 here, and he comes back. Doesn't kill anyone. You can see how fast these surfers here are moving with that tide. So they're getting sucked straight into that channel, and then that channel is going to pull them straight out here. So our boat and our jet ski come back, and then our boat sits in the channel, which is good, and he's getting sucked out too, but that's alright. He's got an engine, so he can sit there and wait. He's doing it perfectly right now. He's sitting in the channel. He could go up a little further by this rock. If we watch the waves break, hold on, let's go forward a little bit, because he sits there for a bit, but even you watch this wave here break. Look at where the surfers are, all this whitewash, all these waves breaking. This wave here breaks here. Impact zone, danger, death on a boat. But down here, the same wave, it doesn't break. It's flat. There's just swell lines. It's not flat, but there's just swell. So this boat could have gone now. Like, go, man. What are you doing? Go, 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 go. He decides not to. He's freaked out about the last attempt. That's fine. So if we fast forward a bit, now he decides to go, and he's now leaving the channel. And this question said there are some Muppets on boards in the channel. So as he's going out, we can see there's a surfer there, a surfer there, a surfer there. Now they all look to be paddling towards the rocks. So I'm going to suggest that they're going back in, or maybe they see this peak coming, one or the other, but I'm going to suggest they're going back in. But keep in mind, this channel, from this rock here to the side of the channel here, where the channel ends, you could probably fit 30 boats across there, side by side, all teed up with one another. So, although it looks like there's surfers sitting in the channel where the boat's trying to go through, one, there's heaps of room for the boats and the surfers. Two, that's the only way for the surfers to get back in or back out. And three, generally where there's surfers sitting, there's going to be an impact. So it's not where you want to be in your boat, as we will see right now. This turned out to be set of the day. This guy got so lucky. So lucky. Boss. This guy got an epic wave over here. Literally set of the day. So I don't think I have all of the footage anymore, but for the next 37 minutes after this guy disappears here, he goes off here to go fishing. I don't have all the 37 minutes, but for the next 37 minutes, that's it. There's a huge lull. That was like literally the set of the day. I don't have the rest. It was all but flat. He could have made 5,400 crossings. It was like 2 minutes after that really gnarly crossing. So he just timed it incredibly poorly. Not 100% his fault. He managed to time it with set of the day, the biggest set that came through all day. But also his reading of the conditions were terrible. So then this one is an interesting one, because this is the same day, it's the same morning, it's about 15 minutes before that one we just watched, and this guy is in a much bigger boat. This guy didn't get set of the day, but there's still waves, and for a boat of his size, decent sized waves. So you look at him go towards the channel, and he sits there and he waits, and he can see there's waves breaking. These waves are deceptive because they're not in the channel, they're beyond the channel, they're out to sea. So when I say there's no waves breaking in the channel, these aren't breaking in the channel right now. That was weird. Why does that happen? They're breaking before they reach the channel, but then when we watch this wave break, you'll see it breaks there, and then when it enters the channel, it reforms, so all that whitewash disappears. So this boat as well could be sitting up further towards these rocks over here, over there, and just waiting for the lull. But they're doing fine, they're doing great. and then they wait for the lull in the channel. They wait for quite a bit, which is good, and then when it's time to go through, look how slowly they're going. They're not fanging it through there. They're cruising. Well, there might be another set, so they're going to wait a little bit longer. They're drifting out of the channel now. See the direction that it's taking them? So the same thing happens to the surfers. It's kind of sucking them into the lineup. So he's not using his motor at all now. So any surfers hanging out in the channel, the same thing will happen to them. They'll get sucked out through the channel and they'll end up back in the lineup. It's quite convenient, really. So that's why there's two surfers here. They've just gotten in. The beach is to the left of my cursor here. So they've just gotten in and they're letting that channel suck them out. And our boat waits and waits and waits. He's drifted a little far, but he's alright because you can fit like 30 boats across that channel. So there's heaps of room. And now look at the speed he's going when he gets a lull. He's cruising through it. There's no drama, no close call with surfers. He doesn't nearly die. He doesn't nearly kill someone else. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's read the conditions perfectly and he's out. And there were 6 or 7 boats that crossed that same morning as easily as this guy did. These are just a few. So 2 boats cross at the same time. More examples of channel crossing. A jet ski crossing. That's the one we just watched. The perfect boat crossing or bar crossing. And then this is our shitty boat arrives and crosses the bar. So that was a long answer, but I feel like maybe slightly overdue. JBM 8444. So obviously JBM doesn't know the way that channel works. I'm doubting he surfed here, so I don't hold it against him, but it is hard to watch videos like that one that I made on YouTube and have an educated opinion on how that works. Not a great day for going over the bar. Just gone over your comment in some depth on live stream. So for accurate answer to your comment, feel free to watch that. Sure. Next one is Bo. My guys, so this was a nose repair for an old board, and the question at the end of the video was, how much do you think it cost? From memory, I want to say 275 was the cost of that board. Could be wrong, but I seem to remember that being the number. So he's saying his guy is crazy expensive. That would probably be $400 or $500, which is quite expensive, depending on the currency, I suppose. In what currency? I might be living in the wrong country. That does seem like a lot, but yeah, depends on the country. What are the materials used? I get this question so much on this video. This was the first video I ever uploaded to this channel. It is by far the most popular video this channel has, and I referred to everything as blue goop, brown goop, yellow goop, and people always ask me what the materials are. So it was poly... oh no, it wasn't. The thing is, I feel like the channel now, if he really wanted to know what those materials are, he could go to my channel and look at any one of my videos and it will tell him what the materials are. It's not like I'm using a crazy variance of materials in each video. Expanding PU foam, poly resin, fiberglass, Molotov paint. Love. How's that? And our last comment for the night is from Sam, who was in the chat not long ago. He may have left now, but he was there. And this is the video that I played at the beginning of the live stream about my customer who duck dived his board, sent it, bailed it, because I should have mentioned in the video he was doing like jet ski tow-ins or step-offs. It was pretty big. It was definitely sizey. I ate some shit over the last week riding boards I shouldn't have been riding out there. So yeah, he went to duck dive a wave. He got scared. He bailed the board, let go of the board. It went between his legs, or he kind of sent it between his legs, like slid off forward, but he was underwater. As the nose got between his legs, it lifted and smoked him in the nuts. And he actually like chunked a decent size of fiberglass and foam out of the nose of the board. Needed stitches in his nutsack. Tore his wetsuit, which I didn't say in the video either, but like ripped his wetsuit. I feel like it's good that we can giggle about it because, man, that could have been really bad. Yeah, I remember my ex-girlfriend learning how to duck dive, and she somehow, I don't know how she did it, but we were out the back. Like, she wasn't even duck diving a wave. We'd made it out the back. She could surf, but she surfed longboards, so she just like power through, you know. And she was on a 7-foot single fin I made with a bit of a pointy nose. And so we're out the back waiting for a wave to come. We literally paddled out, got out the back. We were waiting. Swell was really good waves. And then I said to her, well, while you're out here waiting, you should practice your duck dives in like flat water out the back, you know. And so she went to do her first duck dive, and I don't know what happened underwater. I didn't see, but somehow she got the nose of the board like there under her chin and just opened her chin up like a gash as long as my thumbnail is wide. Just like a big gaping hole in her chin, and she came up and looked a bit stunned, and she was just pouring blood. She was keen to stay and surf, and it's like, you can't. So then we had to paddle back in so I could take her to the doctor to get, I can't remember if she got stitches or like a butterfly clip, but yeah, she ruined that surf. Wasn't the only surf she ruined, but that was a memorable one. So Sam is basically saying he was fine with that story until I mentioned stickers. I'm guessing he means stitches, because I don't think a sticker would do it, if I'm honest. If you gashed your balls on the nose of a surfboard, you might need more than a sticker. So that's what I'm going to write. I'm not sure stickers would cut it. Because we're on the internet, so we've got to correct people when they say wrong things. I'm not sure stickers would cut it. Stitches are probably more Reliable. Sorry, Sam. I do know what you mean, Sam. I know what you mean. You're fine until I mention stitches. Somebody else said the same thing on Instagram. They were like, that was a funny story until you mentioned stitches. So that is the end of the comments, you guys. As look, if I press enter right now, unless other people have been commenting while I'm sitting here. No, all done. All done. So that's it, you guys. If there's no more questions or comments from you in the chat, then I might go to bed, because it is 1 a.m. Why, you might ask, am I doing live streams at 1 a.m? Well, firstly, I'm a night owl anyway. I don't go to bed early, even if I'm not doing this. But the other reason is I've always kind of wanted to keep this channel out of the eyes of New Zealanders. And I know that there's always going to be some New Zealanders found the channel, and that's fine and great. But I didn't want the bulk of my audience to be from New Zealand, because New Zealanders are my customers, and I don't want to teach all of New Zealand how to do my job, because I feel like that's not very good for business. So I'd rather teach Americans and Australians how to do my job, and the ding repairers over there can suffer the consequences. That's my thinking anyway. So I've always tried to keep like uploads of videos and live streams now and that type of thing. I've always tried to keep it more Northern Hemisphere hours than Southern Hemisphere hours. Not that you're not welcome if you're a New Zealander, of course you are. But yeah, that's why we're doing it at this time. Sorry, I'm just looking up my geographies. So it actually changed when I released that bar crossing video. So New Zealand used to be down here. Japan's new. Let's go to see more. So the US has always been first. Australia has always been second. The UK, you guys are slacking because you used to be third. And then fourth was somewhere strange, I feel. Not strange, but like unexpected. I feel like it might have been Canada. Maybe. No, it wasn't. It was Singapore. I'm pretty sure fourth used to be Singapore, and then New Zealand was fifth. And Japan's pretty new. So if you're from Japan, shout out to you. I've always wanted to go there. I dream of going to Japan. One of my favourite ever shapers, here's a tangent, is Instagram. He's called Smooth Body, which I think is a good name for a surfboard company. And a friend of mine actually showed me his stuff because he made a board in the shape of a frog that had light up eyes. Here he is. But this is one of, if not my favorite. Oh, look at that. There's the video right there. I hope this isn't too loud if I click on it. Oh, it's muted. So look at this thing. This is the coolest thing. It's a surfboard, but it's a frog. I think this is quite an old video now. Oh, he must have re-uploaded it. But that was a few years ago he made this. And I'm pretty certain, if I remember right, these eyes light up. Look, there's a leash plug and everything. It's it's great. But, jokes aside, he makes beautiful boards. And his glass work is exceptional. I would highly encourage you to go and peruse his Instagram page. He does some incredible work. Fins this is new. I actually haven't looked at his page in a while. Yeah, he's an amazing craftsman. He lives in the most amazing place. Excuse me. So I dream of visiting here. I don't know where it is. I have no idea where in Japan it is. But he's out there on his deck. He's got his line up, his quiver of boards. He's overlooking this beach, which always seems to have waves of some type. This guy is just living my dream. Yeah, makes some cool stuff. So anyway, how'd we get onto that? Japan. If you're from Japan, shout out to you. Red Russell is here. And he said Sandra is still having nightmares about that frog. Yeah, I agree. The good thing about him, I think, is that he does everything himself. So he can shape whatever wild shit he wants, because he's the one that has to sand it, which I think is how it should be. There you go. I haven't looked at this in a while. Israel, look at that. 10 views from Israel, which is wild. And you know what's crazy? The Israelis are watching more lengthwise of my videos than anybody else. So just, you guys keep that in mind, all you non-Israelis. Bloody, who's this? India, average view duration 14 seconds. It'll take you longer to click on the video. Crazy. I don't know. Some of the stats I get from YouTube, you guys just don't know. Sam's back. He's editing his typos. I meant stitches. I know the feeling, Sam. My thumbs are too big for phones as well. That's, yes, an internet protocol would be to correct you. So before I go to bed, I would just like to take the opportunity to open up this little window here and this little window here. So I should say that I have been filming a new video all week, so I haven't forgotten about making videos, but this video is a little bit different because I've actually been filming a full week's routine and schedule, like a work schedule, so batches of polys and batches of epoxy boards and what order I'm doing them in and why and all that kind of stuff. I don't know how good the video is going to be, because in all honesty it was quite hard to film. Normally I just film one board, one job, you know, whereas this one, it's been like 10-ish jobs. So it's been hard to keep track of which day I'm up to. Pardon me. Boards are coming and going, and yeah, so we'll see. But it kind of seems strange to me that everybody's ding repair videos, mine included, and for obvious reasons, they always show you working on one board at a time, but that's just not the reality. Like normally you're working on 5 or 6 boards at a time. So at least in so yeah, I thought I'd try and have an attempt at showing that a little bit. But because I haven't done a video in a while, I haven't thanked these guys in a while. So these are the members. Third Earth, who I'm actually surprised isn't here. Noted. Sam Maskery, Empurata Productions, Rick, Pedro, Gareth, South County, MJ Rally, and Suzuki Ton, who was the first ever. Thank you guys, as always. So these guys get weekly videos. I actually filmed another members only video today, so I'll edit that tomorrow and upload it tomorrow. Just an update on the chess pieces, guys, because I feel like I've left you in the lurch on the chess pieces. So it's not the most in-depth video, but I'll catch you up with chess pieces. Not only that, but they're also part of a Facebook group for Small Kind Ding Repair members. So Third Earth Surf in particular has been very active on that group, which is very appreciated. He's been doing some ding repairs of his own, so he's got photos and progress shots and We've talked about blending. He had some questions about blending clear coats. He's nailed that. So yeah, it's kind of a group where hopefully the more members sign up and jump in, then we'll all be talking about our jobs and that kind of thing. So yeah, that's cool. So the big dream with all of this, I've said it before, but I'll repeat it again, is one day in a dream world when the channel is making enough money, if I do a video on a board's repair process, then ideally YouTube would pay for that repair for my customer. So when I give that board back to the customer, I'd be able to say to them, hey, I made a video on the repair of your board, and so YouTube has paid for your repair. It cost you nothing, which would be good for my customer, good for my business, good for you guys because you get more videos. So that's kind of the pipe dream. So these guys have helped kickstart that, which is great. And they all get a different shaka emoji by their name. The longer they're members, the different shakas come. So Suzuki Ton has a different shaka to everyone because he's been a member the longest at 6 months. Nick Rick Shah said, just wondering why you think it's okay to teach everyone outside of New Zealand. Good question, because it doesn't affect my workload. No, that's not it at all. I'm not anti-teaching New Zealanders. It just wasn't something... Well, I didn't want them to be my target audience. A part of that too is because when I started this YouTube channel, I was very uncomfortable in front of the camera. I'm definitely getting better. I'm less uncomfortable in front of the camera now. So there was a bit of that too. I didn't want my friends to see me, you know, that kind of thing. But yeah, can't really answer that question any better than that. I don't think so. Sorry, Nick Rickshaw. Anyway, that is about it. I'll see you guys in the next video. I think tomorrow will be the last day of filming for that series of weekly schedule. So I'll start editing this week, maybe. Yeah, they'll be shorter videos because it's only sort of one day at a time, not a full job start to finish. So yeah, they should be shorter videos, but more of them. I'm still not sure if I'm going to release them because I film them Monday to Monday. I'm not sure if I'm going to release them all in a week or if I'll release one Monday and then Tuesday next week and then Wednesday the week after that. I might space them apart a bit, but we'll see. It depends how long they are. But anyway, that's it, guys. Thanks for hanging out. And if you got any more questions, feel free to leave it in the comments section. And we'll answer them next time we do this jam. Cheers, guys. Have a good one. And chee-hoo. Oh, awkward.